The beauty of the Olympics is like Alex Hall wins a silver medal in slopestyle. I come down out of my booth and I can give him a hug while he's crying, seeing his family. Like the energy is just like infectious. But was the only person in my high school that could probably make it down a black diamond, let alone like do a backflip, slide a rail. Like I was the loner loser in that category.
The teacher there, he was like, all right, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you do want to try a backflip, this is the jump to do it. So everybody lands it. I land on my head and have a concussion the rest of the weekend. Like
within like a week, best friends, steal a trash can and step onto a rail with our skis on in September with no snow around and get ticketed by campus security. Kids telling me like, you should be in X Games, you should do this, you should do that. The feedback was the absolute fuel.
if you've been thinking about getting your car detailed, protected, or completely transformed, you need to check out Lux Automotive. They specialize in paint protection film, ceramic coatings, window tint, vinyl wraps, paint correction, and premium detailing. All done with insane attention to detail. Utah roads and weather can absolutely destroy your paint, and Lux helps protect your investment while keeping your car looking brand new. Whether it's your daily driver, weekend car, or something exotic, their team does incredible work and the results speak for themselves. Visit luxautomotive.com or use the link in the show notes to learn more. If you've been thinking about buying or selling a home in Utah, you should talk to Spencer Ford. The market here moves fast, and having someone who actually knows the neighborhoods, pricing trends, and how to negotiate can make a huge difference. Spencer works with buyers, sellers, and people just trying to figure out what their next move should be. Whether you're looking for your first place, upgrading, downsizing, or just curious what your home could sell for, he's someone I'd recommend reaching out to. You can find a link to get in touch with him and his email in the show notes below. And when you reach out, let him know you heard about him on Small Lake City.
I don't know. I'm going to move a lot. Who are we kidding?
Yeah,
I'll keep it close.
I might move things as you do, but not the first time and not the last.
I tend to talk a lot with my hands.
Please. I mean,
having trouble.
It's the beauty of...
What do I do with my hand? What's that from? Ricky Bobby?
Ricky Bobby, yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I mean, story of my life. Like sometimes... Because like on social media, I do a lot of like green screen talking heads about like lore, history, current things going on.
Sick. Yeah.
And like at first I was like, I'd have like a lavalier mic on me and I'd be like, what do I do?
I mean, that's how you gotta, when you're not talking to somebody, it's so hard not to do something with your hands.
Yeah. So eventually.
Because you're presenting and
exactly.
It feels like you need to talk with your hands even though you don't.
So eventually I ended up like, I kind of just want to get like a mic.
Yeah,
and so then I did.
Mic,
and
yeah,
then I'm
just
like because I have one hand and hold this. Because again, yeah, it's funny. Like, especially like when you get, like, it's a weird thing to get used to being like, okay, here's a camera, here's a microphone, like press post, this is fine.
Yeah.
But then some people come up and they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, it doesn't even register.
Yeah,
as
you're like,
that
it's not weird at all.
But
people get like stuck at deer in the headlights on camera or in front of a crowd. People are like, how could you ever? I'm like, I don't care what that room is doing. Just put me on the stage. I'll make them laugh. I'll talk. I don't care. It means nothing.
Yeah, well, because you're someone who obviously is like, presents a lot of things, has been a personality in a lot of different ways in skiing. Like, would you rather 10,000 people you don't know or 10 people you do know?
Oh, I mean, still 10 people I do know I'd prefer because the inside jokes and the weird quips would really hit.
Yeah.
10 people you know at a bar, kill that environment. Yeah. But 10,000, I think I'm not like stressed. As long as we're talking skiing. Like if I had to present like astrophysics to 10,000, it's going to be a lot nerve-wracking. Like you had to study the material. But talking skiing, talking sport, talking something I know, I don't care.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing I learned in college is like all the professors are like talking about something they know. Because sometimes I was always like, oh my God, you're a genius. And then like,
it's so easy for them to teach every day, but it's like they've been teaching that class and that subject, that matter, whatever it is, for so long.
Totally. And like my girlfriend's getting her PhD in chemistry up at the U right now.
Jesus.
I know, right? It's like we have very different lives. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you're like, I'm podcasting, babe. You're studying.
I talked to somebody about what they do. What'd you do? She's like, I was separating atoms and molecules. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
yeah, sure.
That's cool.
But like I was talking to her boss And like, well, no, I wasn't talking to her. She was telling me about a conversation where like, cause he's a master of his field, knows everything. But then he was talking to her about running, cause she's a big runner, trail runner. And it was like, obviously like, it was like, oh, like not quite there, you know?
He's into it.
And
but
so,
nice.
yeah, he just like doesn't, like he has the depth in the one thing and then it doesn't really translate everywhere else. But that's life in an essence. But Tom, I'm stoked because it's been fun of being someone who's grown up in Salt Lake, especially like someone who like skiing has always been something that's been a part of my life. Like my grandpa's theory was if you can walk, you can ski. So ever since then it was, I mean, Brighton, Snowbird, Park City, Alta. And like, I was always the kid who like, I mean, I was friends with like, Kai Crapella and Thane Rich and like Alex Schlopey. And so like, I was the kid who was like, oh, cool. Like I'm here to hit the jump. I might like do a 3-5-7, whatever, but they'd be like, cool, I'm going to do like dub. I'm like,
great. Go have fun.
yeah, have fun. Meet you at the rails. But it's been fun to see how like in my kind of like late high school, when I'm so excited to talk about it, like when you got here to like now to see how much like that Tom Wallisch is transformed.
Crazy.
And especially talking with some
Been
people.
20 years.
I know.
Been out here 20 years, I just realized.
That's crazy.
06 to 26.
And it's like, it's always like those time frames of when you go tell someone a story of like, oh, like driving past Kansas, oh, I used to live there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's a big time frame. But I mean, it's been fun to see how your career has evolved with you, especially with other people that I've seen and talked to who are, I mean, I always hate the term action sports, but like people that do that, it's hard for them sometimes to transition to what is after it because it doesn't last forever. And so it's
same with stick and ball sports, I'd say. Like even at my age, like there's not a lot of people playing football, soccer, basketball at 38. So you got to find something afterward, even for those people.
Especially when it becomes like so much of your core identity. Like, I mean, the people who've been playing football since they were 6, then all of a sudden they're like, well, your professional career's over. Like,
I guess if you were a star, you probably just retire because you got like millions and hundreds of millions, but not like that. But
there's still something you have to do, whatever it is.
Still something to take up your time and to feel busy.
Yeah. But because I'm excited, like, I mean, just setting the stage from like Pittsburgh area, Pennsylvania. I mean, how does one get into skiing there?
Yeah. Take it all the way back. I mean, born and raised Pittsburgh, grew up skiing a small resort, Wisp, and Seven Springs, which is right outside of Pittsburgh. And by right outside, I mean an hour away. But like my parents were just really into being outside, which in the winter, the only activity is sledding, skiing, whatever that is. And just for some reason, I fell in love with skiing because it was an individual sport. I'd played all the sports in high school, kind of sucked at some of them, most of them, and also was really competitive and hated being the one that lost us the game or not being included in the play that lost the game or winning but having done nothing. Like I hated like too competitive to be on a team and not play the like lead role of everything. So skiing, action sports in general, tried them all because I was like, they're individual. And it's just me. I want to be good at this. I want to go faster than you. It was all one-on-one and just fell in love with it that way. And like no one else was doing it, but the mountain's small. So you try park skiing because you're like, I could try something on that jump. The mountain's tiny, but that jump has sort of an endless amount of tricks you could try. So as parks came about in the like mid to late 90s, early 2000s, it was like my small mountain got new life. You know, the runs aren't any harder, but the terrain park makes it hard for me. And I just fell in love with like the challenge, the individuality, the style, the tricks, the fear, the adrenaline, and like continue to do it through high school, but was the only person in my high school that could probably make it down a black diamond, let alone like do a backflip, a cork 7, slide a rail. Like no one else I went to school with could slide a rail my entire high school. Like I was the loner loser in that category till it's like a school ski trip and then you're like burning down the hill around everybody and you're cool. But it was like just not a thing. It was my weird thing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, it's like almost comparable if I were to go to be in high school and someone's like, oh, I go to California every weekend and go surfing. I'd be like, that's wild.
Like, how do you surf? Why?
Yeah.
What's weird?
But then it's like growing up here, it's wild because, I mean, that was always our weekend. Saturday, Grandpa would pull up with his truck, throw the skis in the back. All the cousins would hop in. There'd be Gatorade and chips and candy in the back. We'd go ski, have a Pier 49 pizza for lunch at Snowbird, and then we'd come home.
Nice.
And like rinse and repeat every single time. And then also like in school, if you're in 5th and 6th grade, Fridays,
free tickets and stuff.
Free tickets, and Friday they bus you up. You have like a teacher waiting for you to come back down. And it was fun too, because like we would go to Brighton, and the teacher there, he was like a park rat, and so he'd see us to be like, I can finally have fun with you all.
I got a good crew, yeah.
Because it's like where on like Great Western, how you can like dip off into the right and go into the backcountry, and then there's like kind of that like big lip.
There's a windlip back there.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like backcountry, but relatively safe.
As long as you know how to get back in, you're fine. But if you don't, then you could be walking a lot.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was like our last day of that. He's like, all right, guys, follow me. Don't let anybody see you. Duck the rope. And so we go in, and he's like, all right, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you do want to try a backflip, this is the jump to do it.
Oh, so sick.
So everybody lands it. Needless to say, I land on my head and have a concussion the rest of the weekend, like throwing up. It was terrible, but it's still fun.
Everybody else landed it? You're the only big crash?
No, I mean, not everybody tried.
Crashes,
I think I was I was definitely the worst case of everybody that tried it. Which is fine.
But so cool that's like part of the 5th grade teacher and like the community vibe is for everybody to learn. Everybody go try something out there. It's really cool.
Totally. And like, especially with everybody I've known through skiing or has moved here that I've met from skiing, like all the Ski the East kids, like that is a lot of their experience is they come and they're like, okay, I'm so excited to get to Park City because I've seen all the clips. I've followed everybody there. I've been stuck whether I'm in New Hampshire, Vermont, like whatever the place is, it's a lot of that experience because you don't have the same ski resorts. It's not like you have the vert or the accessibility.
The amount of people around doing the same thing. Like we had such a small crew of friends that skied park or skied in the way I wanted to ski. It was like 5 at most, and you move out here and you're surrounded by. You meet a new friend every time you go out. Like every time you ride a resort out here and ski the park, if you're by yourself, you're making a friend. Like that wasn't the way I grew up, and I fell in love with that as soon as I got out of here. It's just so like-minded, every single person you meet, and it was just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to be that teenager where, I mean, not only just like teenagers in general of how wild that is, but like to have something you're so passionate about, but like it's hard for you to build a community or make friends around. Yeah. And so it's probably like a lot of the headphones in of just full Tom's going to the park.
I'm going to the park. I'm skiing. If my one friend isn't out there that day or got hurt or has school or something, it's like I'm skiing by myself, like, or maybe with a snowboarder, like never with other skiers the way I wanted to ski for the most part.
Yeah. So you come out for school. Yeah. Remind me, was it the U or Westminster?
I went to the U.
Okay.
Yeah. And eventually graduated. It did take 12 years. So anybody that's taken their time, no stress. It took me 12, but I did get the degree.
What's the quote from Tommy Boy? It's like, it took you 8 years to graduate. It takes a lot of people.
Yeah,
what are you, a doctor? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Or Van Wilder or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, and he's not a lawyer or something. No, I just got an undergrad in business. So just took 12 years.
So you get to Utah, you're at the U. Talk to me about how, like, because 4x9 had existed before you got there, but talk to me about connecting with them and like how that had changed everything that they were doing. You found your community and kind of setting that foundation for what then, I mean, catapulted you forward.
Yeah, I mean, that first year was so cool. And I look back on like the first and second year of college living in Utah with the absolute fondest memories of maybe the like most important, impactful time of my life. Just being surrounded by that crew of guys that I met out here, like so like-minded, all wanting to ski, wanting to make videos at the forefront of creating films and edits about skiing. Like we all found each other at the University of Utah within like a week. You know, it was like you're wearing a beanie that's a ski brand and you're walking around campus, you just talk to that person. Yeah. So we weren't in the same dorm or, you know, we were all spread out a little bit, but within a week or two, best friends coming together, trying to go like step onto a handrail with our skis on in September with no snow around, just like steal a trash can and step onto a rail and get ticketed by campus security. Like we became such a close crew, and it was just so fun to go from living in the East, having school and high school like 5 days a week, to setting my classes up Tuesday, Thursday, every other day. You're skiing in the winter, and when it's not ski season, we were finding a trampoline park or finding a hike to do or something all together. And it was like this moment of just finally being surrounded by so many peers with the same mindset, the same motivation to go out there, and just people that were as good, if not better skiers than me, to go from being like the only skier with no one around to really push me to like having so many friends as good, if not better, to like all learn together. And it was like the best years of my life. Like just so fun, learning so quick, and just nothing mattered. No real life. I mean, it was awesome.
Ugh. It's like
back.
Well, it's like such an iconic time because like that's like peak Newschoolers era.
Yeah.
Everyone's like kind of like, it was where like all of these kind of like cliques started to happen. A lot more geographically. There's more than a handful in Utah, and people are like, oh, like we can all, like we have our film guy who's like not the best skier, but he wants to be there. So, and he likes to film and edit. So we'll let him do that. I mean, like you're Evan Heath and who loves that, loves skiing, loves being a part of it. And then just be able to like film, get content, edit, put it on Newschoolers, rinse and repeat, kind of before this social media era.
Yeah, I mean, it was before social media. There was, videos going up online. I don't even know what year YouTube started, maybe 04.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
04, but like, I just felt like ski content at the time was like very long form, and like before social, nothing was less than a minute or two. And all we were about was like, that's dope. We made like a 1 minute edit. Let's put it on the internet and see what people think. And every crew at that time in that 2005, 2006 era, it just was like what you did because you wanted feedback from the online community, from Newschoolers. You wanted to share it with your online friends. And that's like where social grew from, and where everybody putting content online kind of came from. And being there at the beginning was so crazy to see. Like you do one video and you're like, oh cool, like I think like 1,000 people watched it, and then another one on YouTube gets 300,000 views, and at the time you're like, what just happened? Like I don't even think there's that many people in the US, and it's like we're just dumb. There's more than that, but like
it becomes very unfathomable very quick. Of like you're telling me that 300,000 people were like sat down, watched this, and like cool.
And
that's
us
amazing.
like flipping our hats, like acting like gangsters, wearing tall tees and skiing to obnoxious rap music. It's like, will you watch that? Wow, thanks for that. I'm sad. I'm glad, sad. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, it's all different stuff. And I mean,
cool era.
Well, and especially when like, again, going to like YouTube was kind of there, but not in the same way. And it was either like these little clips on Newschoolers, or it's like a matchstick movie that like you're at the East High like auditorium with 1,000 other people.
Hour-long movie on VHS or DVD eventually, and Blu-ray and everything. It was all that way, hard copy, and we were like internet only.
Yeah. And there was one time, because I graduated high school in 2009. And so one of my friends that I rollerbladed with a lot was Alex Bass.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one time he's like, hey, like, because I think we were done, like we were skating, and he's like.
Which is so weird because he's a rollerblader.
Yeah.
But a snowboarder.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he a skier?
I've never, I understand skateboarding and like how fun it is, like the uniqueness of it compared to a lot of things. But I've never understood, like, if I'm a skier and I want to have something as like similar as possible, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like, if you ski, you have to rollerblade because it's not going to make sense. And like, why would you do something different? But it's just always one of those things that never.
It makes so much sense. I don't know why more people don't do it. Just
it's fun to see Henrik like embrace it a lot.
Really into it.
Like, cause like, it's fun to see him like go to Woodward and just like, do ski things on rollerblades and have so much fun. And it's almost
into the foam pit and stuff. And like everyone did it. I feel like at least in our age range, young, like I didn't go to the skate park. Well, went to the skate park a little bit on rollerblades, but it was more like I had an X Factor rail in the backyard and would just do ski tricks. Like I would literally just do 2 on, pretzel 2 out on rollerblades, but it was like summer training.
Yeah.
But it was still like I rollerbladed a lot in the summer, but I never really, I wasn't doing too many soul grinds. It was all like regular slides, switch ups, like thinking it was so sick because it was like the only way to feel like you were skiing in the summer.
Yeah, because I think it was I went over to like the 4x9 house once, and like,
nice.
And it was fun because like I met
one on University Street, the big one,
just like right over by Greek Row, and I remember because like that's where I met. I guess I knew like John Kutcher before because he Park City kid, met him through Kai, And then like Steve, I think I met him through Bass, and like Steve was just someone I'd always see.
Ryan Weibel, maybe.
Yep, Ryan Weibel
came from Park
like
City.
because like all those Park City kids were people I knew because Ryan and his brother Nate, because I met Nate and then met Ryan through Nate, and so it's just like all of this, like, I mean, for lack of a better term, like small lake city, where it's like, oh cool, I know one person, know everybody, and then I'd see Steve like every time I went up, so it's like one of those like, oh hey Steve, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you too. Anyway, moving on, have a good one.
So like just the amount, how quickly like Ryan Weibel and Kutcher we found, and they became a part of the crew. Like it's just, if you do any of the activities, the outdoor activities here with a whole heart, you're going to run into the exact same people everywhere and meet all, like it's so small. Like, oh, so-and-so, like just the outdoor industry activities here. I'm always like, how do we know each other? Oh, we do.
Well, like the thing that's, I think, fun that a lot of people miss is, and I like to give like a parallel of golf. Like, cause I was golfing with a friend and he was like, not very good. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I wanted to golf one. I'm like, whoa. Like, first off, chill out. It's harder for me to find someone I want to spend 4.5 hours with than someone who's good at golf.
Yeah.
And so in the same way, like, obviously if you're skiing and filming and like pushing each other, you want people that are good, but at the same time, like, you still want to be around people you want to hang out with and like live with.
You just want to have fun. Yeah. It's important to, like, golf's a great example. It's like, I don't care how good you are. Just be fun and like, don't break your glove and get all pissy and stuff. Like just chill, have a beer. It's going to be great.
Totally. And like, I think it's interesting because like the Park City time of like, let's call it like that 2008 to 2012-ish, where you're very different. Like, and it's very obvious from like, you look at like, I mean, like the Candides before that, the JP Claire's before that, it's very almost like rinse and repeat. Everyone kind of wears the same stuff, does a lot of the same tricks, but then all of a sudden this like kind of new wave comes in of, I mean, like rap music and tall tees and baggy pants and like after bang and just things that didn't exist. Yeah. And so, I mean, for you being one of the people that really led that revolution, I mean, where did that come from? Or was it just you?
I think it was just, our crew listened to a lot of that type of music and were inspired by other action sports and just other artists and stuff that you looked up to. But mainly it was just like, it could have gone anyway. It was just to stand out or to be different. And I think it still happens cyclically, like every 5-10 years, styles change just because someone young wants to stand out, wants to look different, whatever the size pants might be, whatever the colorway might be. It was just like, no one really looked like that and no one was doing it that aggressively. So you like put your mark on it just to do it. Like, it's not like that was the only look I could have gone for. I would have worn anything. All I wanted to do was look cool and look different. Yeah. And it just so happened that we fell into that sort of, rap music, hip hop inspired, like tall tees, big headphones, everything about that just like became our style. And then you just lean into it more when you get like, oh, that's cool, and somebody copies you or you're inspiring someone. Like, you just lean in more and more and more and take it like as absurd as you can until you're like, okay, we got to bring this back to earth a little bit. Yeah. And I've ebbed and flown over the years, but no tall tees anymore. Those don't make an appearance. I think you're older than 30, you can't. Yeah. I don't know, Henrik still does it, so
hey, to each their own. I bet you have one in the closet somewhere.
Yeah, there's probably one, I don't know. I don't know if they're truly
the nostalgic tall tee just
there's probably
in the closet.
An XL shirt in the closet, but there's no more 3XL shirts. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, understandable. And that era in Park City was so wild. Like, because I remember going of oh my gosh, why can't I think of the line where it used to be? And now it's just a run. King's Crown, thank you. Yeah. King's Crown run where...
Oh, beautiful groomer now, though.
Right.
Beautiful views. No park.
But it was like wild to see then, because like being a kid, I would see the jumps, be like, those are ridiculous. Because it would be like these 100-foot tables with quarter pipe lips. But then even like looking back now at edits, I'm like, oh, they were as big as I remember. Yeah. And like, thankfully now it's like, I mean, like tabletops and things are made safer so you don't like get broken off. Yeah, they were a little
looser 20 years ago. Yeah. Like in the builds, they're not as soft impact. They're not as built as safe, and they were just awesome. Yeah. I love that. That run was amazing. And see it from all around town.
Yeah. Like, and it would be there in like June or July. Yeah. You'd like go up to Park City to go on Main Street or like Park City, be like, oh, cool, they're still there because there's so much snow and there, the half pipe and everything. And so you have this, I mean, this like this Newschoolers era, like you finding 4x9, you like becoming this like such novel thing that no one had seen before. But then there was kind of this transition into more like competition park skiing.
Yeah.
And like what made you gravitate towards that compared to just, let's call it like the creativity of just filming style, doing the tricks you want to more structure and like that?
That is a good question. It kind of like just always throughout skiing, like we started the videos and I got noticed and accolades from the videos on the internet and recognized for that. And it took a while for me to get into any of the bigger competitions, despite I'd always wanted to compete. I've always been highly competitive and always was learning tricks with the thought of like, I want to win Dew Tour, I want to win the Olympics or X Games, I want to win everything like that is possible. And it just like took a while for me, I think, to like build up the accolades to get there. But for me, that was always on there. Even with the filming we were doing, it was like, how can I do the best trick? How can I have the final shot of the edit? We call the closing shot, you know, to like, I was always trying to be the best of our crew, of whoever I met. And the natural next step was just competition skiing, mainly because I didn't want to win money or necessarily anything like that. It was just like, I want to go to the best parks in the world. And these contest courses are always the best parks in the world. Maybe less so now with how much terrain parks have gone everywhere and every resort has an amazing setup. This was like, you go to Dew Tour and it's like, this is the best jumps you'll find all year. So I just mainly wanted to go to these events and compete and prove how good I could be, and just so competitive as a kid. Yeah. And it just transitioned, and slowly as I did more of these events, I got more noticed, picked up bigger sponsors, and all of a sudden I kind of transitioned from being super, super tall T, absurd, talking a certain way, to like, okay, let's tighten it up. Let's cut back on cussing, or be a little bit more family friendly. Maybe wear the jacket instead of the hoodie because the brand has a jacket and I want to be a better endorsed athlete. And it was like that series of competitive success that changed me from like, you know, the kid that's in college talking the way he wants. And I just learned through the 4 or 5 years of high level competition from the beginning. If you watched an interview of me, it's like, I don't know what I'm saying. I sound absurd. By the end, I've grown into a professional, right, like you would through an internship into a real job. Like the first big event I did and the videos we did were my internship to pro skiing. And then by the end, I'm a tenured professor of pro skiing, from just learning on the fly as you do these things. It was really cool to see, like, and now I look back, I'm like, oh, that's definitely from '08 because I'm wearing that shirt that says So Far So Hood with the girl on the front. Like, oh my gosh, that's so long ago. I'm so embarrassed. But like it's funny to see the transition over a 20-year career.
Totally. And like, was there ever a moment where, because again, you're this kid from the East, comes here, makes these friends, you start putting videos on the internet, you can see the numbers that keep growing.
Which like translated to me thinking I was good, no money.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't making any money.
Oh yeah, and that's how it was then. Like, like everybody's
nowadays, maybe you get paid for YouTube views. We weren't getting paid. We were just stacking views and buying, you know, eating at the HC at the U and like trying to survive.
Totally. And was there ever like a moment, whether it be like a clip you posted or, I mean, whatever it might be, or like validation in like the Newschooler forum, like where you're like, oh, like people watch me and like are... I'm having an impact on skiing more than I ever thought I would.
I mean, there's two that I can think of very vividly. Like the first one that kind of set me up and motivated me more than anything was in 2007. I put out this super unknown video for this level 1 contest, and it wasn't winning the event and filming with level 1. Like that was amazing. Don't get me wrong. The feedback in the comment section on like that video was the absolute fuel to like my competitive self that like got me to where I was. It was kids telling me like not only how great the skiing was or how stylish it was, but also like, you should be in X Games, you should do this, you should do that. And I was like, oh, like this, I can do it. Like if they think I can be in X Games, the only reason I continue to like make it that far in competitive skiing, I mean, I wanted to compete, but like I pushed and pushed because of feeling that like backing from the community, which was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's one sort of confidence that's good to have within yourself of like, oh, I've always been a competitive person. I've always liked these individual sports because it's me or no one else.
But finally somebody's like, yeah, like you get real support.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
You have a couple hundred kids on the internet being like, hey man, you should do this.
You're
like,
the best.
Maybe I should do this. Like,
and then finally when I did win some money, I was like, okay, maybe it'll be a career. Because for a while there, I was like, I'm just really going into credit card debt and I'm barely getting by. And like, my parents aren't helping me anymore. What do I do? And then you win 15 grand at one event. You're like, oh, okay, I can do this.
There's a quote from our scene from Boy Meets World growing up where one of the characters goes to his teacher, Feeney. He's like, Feeney, I got $5,000. I'm a millionaire. And so it's like, imagine, like, it's fun talking to like friends who have won contests early in their careers
and think it's like
they're
insane.
like I've made it, it's done, I'm
gonna go buy a truck.
Yeah,
it's like no that's not what you should do. 15 grand's not that much.
No.
But at the time, whew.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest things, especially at that time, is like, oh, I have a sponsor that's going to pay for me to go somewhere. Oh, I can get skis now. I don't have to pay for boots. I don't have to you just sent me 3 kits. So okay, sick. Like amazing. And
so sick.
Because then I think it's like this interesting time because like you start competing, but I feel like there was this almost public rejection of like that Tom. Where it's like, oh, I'm going to compete without poles. Like, yeah, we're going to ding you for that. Or we're going to do this. Like, man, that's not the way we like it. Like, was that, I could see that being either motivating and being like, stick it to the man, or demotivating, be like, well, they're not accepting me. Like, I can't fit into this thing to win. Like, how did you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a funny story. I did compete at the Aspen Open without poles and got really, really, really badly scored. And I think I picked up poles after that. And I ski without them sometimes, but I think I conformed.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was like, fine, I'll conform. Like maybe at the end of that season, I was like, fine, I'll wear poles. Like it was just a unique style thing. And now people go back and forth, but I was like, yeah, I'll pick them up. If that's what you want to see, I'm going to prove to you that like I'm still going to win.
Yeah, I'll play on your rules and I'll still come out
and
on
I'll
top.
Still win, but I forgot about that. Yeah. Now I've skied with them ever since.
Yeah.
Poles are nice.
Oh, I know.
I mainly just like them, not for turning, not for skiing tricks, just for like pole planning off a lip or like pushing through lift lines. It's so lame to walk like all duck style through the lift line, stepping on other people. Like, I just want them to push through the lift line and like stand there and look normal.
Yeah, you're on some cat track and you want to be doing like the cross country skier walk
every day. I'm not pole planting off there, but like it's pretty stylish to do a pole plant cork 7 Candide style.
Yeah. Well, and I like that's a perfect. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I like that you have this crew, and I kind of like what you're talking about of like, I want to be the best. I want to have the closing shot. I want this. Was there anybody in particular that time that you felt like you were competing with the most, or like almost like this like unspoken rivalry?
Not really. I mean, it was the whole crew. I would say like big shout out Steve Stepp, who came from Pennsylvania with me. And like we were very equally matched in terms of talent and skill, but like he was better than me for sure at all levels of jumping when we moved from Pennsylvania to Utah. Like I was pretty good at rails. We were pretty likewise, but like he was so good at jumps compared to me. And it took me so long to be out here to learn how to hit jumps correctly. And like, he was like the guy that like probably should have made it even further than me, but it was like me just trying to keep up with him. And then he has an injury or two and I can surpass, but like him, Rich, Tim, AJ, all these guys in that 4x9 crew were so good, and we were all very equal when we came to Utah. Mm-hmm. It was just by pure, whether it's talent, luck, work ethic, we're all working really hard. I just like fell into like trying once more when somebody would give up or crash hard and get back up or whatever it was, just like pure luck, hard work, and maybe just a smidge of talent, but like not much. I was never that good. It was just over time, absolutely 9 to 4, nothing else on my mind, all I focused on and just worked out eventually. But like it was having them around that credits to my success. And it's the same thing for any kid learning today. It's like you can't just go train by yourself. You're not motivated, you're not pushed. Like surround yourself. And I try to do this with golf too now that I play a lot. It's like if you play with people that are way better than you, I think it makes me way better. I'm like,
same.
I'm a little embarrassed because I like just sliced that one out of bounds, but like, I'm going to do better next time. I want to practice. I want to get better. I watch them. It's like so good to be surrounded by people, whether they're smarter, whether they're better in activity, whatever it is, surrounding yourself by those people. And that's what the first year in Utah did for me. Outside of, yeah, the terrain's better out here, it was the people, I think, that got me to the level I was. Within 1 year of living out west, I went from a random kid skiing to like known across the internet and the world.
But like that's such a good skill to learn, because a lot of people think, and quick tangent, like it's wild to see like Woodward and those things exist now.
Oh my
Because
God.
it's like, oh cool, I can go to these perfect jumps, I can go to the tramp, I can go to the foam pit, and I can go like get things dialed in more before I take it to snow. Whereas then it's
So
like,
jealous.
well, I'm just going to throw it over the jump, and if I get wrecked, I get wrecked, and I guess we'll get on the lift and get
Try
back
again.
up. Yeah. And so jealous of all the kids today, but
So jealous.
and I like that's such a good skill to learn, because it applies to so many things, not just skiing. Of like, I'm going to put in the intentional effort. If I can't do like grab blunt perfectly capped, I'm going to do cork sevens, and like until I can grab perfectly blunt, I'm not going to give up. Or, oh, they just gave me poles and it's harder for me now. Cool. I'm going to go back and do it all over again. Or, oh, I can't do all seven, like switch up 2 out. I'm going to go do it until I can do it every run in a row.
It's gotta be just insane in your head. Like,
Yeah.
gotta just keep trying, and it's so nuts. But like, that was my biggest thing, was just reps. Like, until you get the grab perfect, till the rotation's perfect. Like, and it's just so maddening. I mean, it is the definition of insanity, trying something over and over again, expecting a different result. It's like, I'd be like, why? It's the cork's not the right way, or you're trying a rail over and over and you never get it. But like, just something about it is like, so sweet when it works out.
Was there ever one of those tricks that just kicked your ass more than anything?
So many over the years. I'm trying to think of like a good example of one, but like, even just like the first like sevens we would try, and trying to do a cork seven before foam pits, trampoline, like all this other access. It was like, was that cork? No, dude, it was just a seven. Or you remember that one? Kids would be like, I swear that was corked. It's like, no, you were just looking between your legs, dude. And it's maddening when you want to try it. But like now it's like, try it on the airbag, and it's not that scary. It was just scary to commit to something. And then like, I did a world record rail slide years ago.
Yeah, actually, no, I want to touch on that, because like
that was maddening. Because every day you try it like 50 to 80 times and you don't get it, and you come back the next day like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why?
Well, because there was a clip that Nigel Houston posted the other day of him. It was like this, like flip into a ditch, but like the ditch was gnarly, and it like took him years and like wrecked him. But I mean, how did that come up of being like, I want to set the world record rail slide, and then and after that, then want to follow up with something else?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, rails have always been like the highlight part of skiing. It's what stood out for me. Coming from the East Coast, we had rails, we didn't have jumps. And I got into jumping and slopestyle and big air, but like rail skiing, and rail specifically, were like the attribute of skiing that like drew me in. And I don't know why. It's because it's an endless possibility on the easiest thing to create with the least amount of, like, something about it is so accessible and enjoyable. And I just like, because of my love from coming from Pennsylvania, the only world record that you could do on skis in Pennsylvania was rail. And like, I had always dreamed of like, I didn't even know what it was at the time. Maybe it was like 250 feet. I was like, I could do that. Like, what? We should build it. And it took years of like building up sponsor relations and business stuff to be able to like fund it, get Guinness to come out, build the rail, have a resort partner to work with. Like, everything takes so much facilitation. And like, that being said, there's a lot of great rail skiers. If someone built another one, they would break the new world record. It's hard. It's incredibly hard, but like, it just takes a lot of money to have like a 500-foot rail and then have Guinness there. Like, we had a guy from Guinness in loafers on snow, like, and he had to watch, he had to verify the measurements. Like, there's so much that goes into it. But like, I mean, we set it all up, probably spent like, the whole shoot is like $100,000.
Yeah.
And if I don't get to the end of the rail, we're shit out of luck. Like,
no pressure.
no pressure. If it was supposed to be a show in TV, on ESPN. It was all these things. And it's like, wow, 4 days in, I've tried like 300 or 400 times. Like, am I ever gonna get it?
Yeah.
And like, we went through iterations of different steepness, different pitches, the way we set it up. And eventually I did get it. It was like the most fun, rewarding rail slide. But like, the 400 other ones were really frustrated, and I kind of was like getting depressed and really exhausted. But it's just like one of those things where so much effort goes into it and the payoff is like so worth it. But then you're like, wow, we did a lot.
Yeah. I feel like I need a beer and I need to go home because I'm done with
it.
this.
It was Easter Sunday of that year, and I was like, why? What am I doing? Like, in the town, my parents live down the road. I'm like not with my family on Easter Sunday. I'm just sliding this rail slide. It was so hard to get somebody to come like work the thing because it's like,
what resort was it at?
Seven Springs.
Oh, so it was at the home resort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like going back to this like competitive years. So, I mean, obviously you start like competing and like, I mean, it's competitive obviously, and there's so many people there, but then you start to like, for lack of a better term, like dominate.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of when it went from this, I mean, kid in tall tees that's like at Park City in Newschoolers to like, I mean, the corporate sponsors will be like, yeah, well, sure, we'll go build a 500-foot rail here and do this. And I feel like that was almost like where like a lot of the fun started to happen, and like filming with level 1 and like all of those parts. But like, what were some of those highlights or things that you think about most fondly of those times, whether that be, I mean, competing and like winning your first X Games gold, or like the part that you put together, you're like, this is a professional ass part.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of how this came together.
I mean, it's really all of that like era, like it blends together because it's so action packed, and like being that age range, whatever it was, maybe I'm 21 or 22 through 27. It's like the best. You're so energized, motivated, like still not that many real world commitments, like not really like a mortgage, or like you're not worrying about all the real life stuff as much, and just was so focused on it. I just remember like first X Games gold was obviously like huge moment. Winning X Games at Aspen in 2012 at night was like, I mean, all the competitive stuff is like, you win an event, it's a highlight, but like they all kind of blend together, which is funny enough looking back from like this view 10 plus years later. It's like, it is more those film segments. And fortunately I was still filming during the time, but like I can still watch the Wallisch project, which is a video we made in 2013, me and Kyle Decker, and it was solo project, same kind of era as Nyjah Houston's first solo project, which was like an inspiration because it was like, instead of a ski movie, instead of a edit, we were like, one athlete, one filmer, this is going to be everything. I'm going to show everybody how good I was, or was at the time, I guess. And now it's like, I look back on that, that's like the same era I won World Championships gold. And it's like, yeah, that event mattered, and it was so cool and felt so important to me at the time. But the videos just live on, like the moments. It's just so much more work. You don't remember all the days of learning the double corks that go into the slope run. You remember standing on the podium or losing and being bummed. But the film segment, like every shot has a story, and you remember the whole night or the whole day in the backcountry that leads up to that shot. And for some reason, I'll watch that video and I'm still like, man, what a fun year. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I won world champs that year. But like, where is that world championship gold medal? I don't even know. Like, is it in my office? Like, where is it?
Yeah,
like,
somewhere.
It matters, but like, I'm so happy and so fortunate that I had the film stuff going on throughout my competitive career, because the reason I made it big, got the corporate sponsors, is definitely from the competitions. But being entrenched in the video side is what led to that post-competitive success. And me, I mean, I must have stopped competing in 2015 or 16, and now it's 10 years later, and I feel like my career's still as good as it was the day I stopped competing. From the brand relations, all because of like that buildup of video work, sponsor relations, negotiate, like everything with it is just so much more important than just how many times you spun and did you win a medal.
Yeah, and I mean, in my I would think it makes for a very busy winter.
Oh,
Because if you're training for, okay, cool, so we have World Champions coming up, we have X Games coming up, we have Judo coming up. Okay, like logistics, those are those weekends. I have to be there this, practice, warm up in the park. But then we also have to go to like British Columbia because we have to go back up to like Revelstoke or Whistler to go get this shot.
Yep.
And I have to meet so-and-so to do this. Like, how did you manage a schedule like that?
I mean, you just literally are on the grind. I mean, when I'm home, it wasn't like, let's go have fun. It was like, whatever day it is, when I'm in Utah, if it was a PAL day, we were filming backcountry. If it was not, and it was a park day, we would like ski park, film that. I'd probably be training, and then we'd go film a handrail at night. Like, it was just not a lot of sleep and a lot of, I guess, coffee and Monster Energies. And just like, but we're young.
Yeah.
Like, I had all the energy in the world. I could sleep on somebody's couch on a trip for 4 hours, get up and ski and do something new the next day. Now I'm like, if I don't get 8 hours of perfect sleep, I am wrecked the next day.
Oh,
but like,
same.
I'm a lot old. It was just in love with the game and just grinding. And I see like young athletes now living that lifestyle, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool, man. I hope you're enjoying it. Like, you're really doing everything. Like
do this while you can.
do this while you can. I miss it. Oh, it was like skipping Thanksgiving dinner and having my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, like mad at me for not coming to the big friends Thanksgiving because I wanted to go get away with a rail on campus at the U. That like Thanksgiving's a good night to hit a handrail where you're not going to get in trouble. And it's like, and it took 2 nights over that holiday weekend. And I'm sorry, but like I needed it.
Yeah.
But like she stuck it out. Now I'm home a lot more than I used to be.
What a trooper. And it's fun too, because like when I look at, it's ironic because like whenever I open up iTunes on my computer, the only movies I have
are like some old
well, it's like
the
all from college of like all the level 1 movies. I mean,
that's how we
like
got 'em.
exactly, and so it's funny now, like kind of paralleling what you're talking about. Like those are the things that live on forever. I go back and watch, like they're literally on my like cloud account and will be forever.
When you don't have internet or you're on a train or a plane or whatever, and you're like, oh, what's on there? Oh, okay, let's watch that. Like, it's there.
Yeah. Quick random tangent that came to mind. So like one of like the best edits that, I mean, if you put it in like a bracket competition, usually wins or is in the semis is like the Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Who came to who first about doing it?
For
you and Simon.
Our second, that is the secondary meetup, I guess? Or are we talking the Joss edit or Simon's Slumdog Millionaire edit?
Joss.
Originally was Simon came to me.
Yes.
The original Joss edit from 2009, I was kind of really coming up, like the hot thing on the internet. Still not tons of competition success, maybe just at the end of 2008 or spring of 2009, maybe I did something. But like he approached me. He was like, I need some like flavor to add to this. He knew he needed a partner. And I was like, really?
I mean, that's got to be wild to be like, you want me
I was like, you're
to
like
show you how to do this. Sure.
7-time X Games gold medalist or whatever at the time. He's only like a year older than me, or maybe 9 months older than me. We're close to the same age, but at the time I was like, this guy is such a legend.
Yeah.
And it was a huge honor, and we had so much fun like doing all that together. And it's like, I really like that edit still lives on. And again, the people that watch it probably don't even know what the film event was that it's in, or why we were there, like the events and stuff. And we didn't win. I don't even think we placed in. It was like a film edit competition. We definitely didn't win, but nobody really remembers the winning video. They just remember that one because it was fun.
When it's funny, sometimes you look back, like the one that I always come back to is, I think it was either 2012 or 2013, like album of the year or rap album of the year went to Macklemore. And you look at back and it's like when Kendrick Lamar, like How to Pimp a Butterfly came, there's like the other 3 are like timeless ones now.
Yeah.
And so
you're
it's
like, but with, Macklemore? Okay.
Yeah, you're like, okay, like
Thrift Shop?
Like we were there, like I get it, but like, anyway, but
funny.
So I love like this, your like career starts to sunset as far as like you in the competitive realm, but I feel like that's really when you started to lean into filming a lot more, and especially like the birth of like Good Company.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to me about how like your logical, or like how you approach this. Okay, like I'll be in your level 1 movie, do well, to like, oh, I want to do this solo project, to actually I'm going to do the whole thing myself now.
Yeah, I think for me, like being in the film space, and as I transitioned away from competitive skiing, I also, having been business minded, having been in these classrooms and understood like ownership of this stuff and seeing where the money and the value to brands go, it was just not like a selfish play, but more like I'm sick of like not being in charge and not like knowing where the footage goes, who's paying who, what sponsors are paying for what. And it was just like, I want to be in charge of what trips we go on and where we go. In the years prior, I was like told, okay, there's a Japan trip coming up if you want to go. And I'm like, I don't want to, like, I mean, you always want to go to Japan, whatever it is. I don't want to go to whatever trip it is. I want to go somewhere else. So 2014, 15, I transitioned away from competing, and I was like, how do we take ownership of this? Like, how do we as athletes become the film production company so that we can make a better, not a better video, but a great video, and also have a better impact for the brand sponsoring it, where we're sharing the footage easier, the athletes are getting all their footage. It was all about ownership.
Yeah.
And
feels like way
ownership.
Fewer middlemen involved, and like, just come talk to me. I know how to film. I know where to go. I know what to do. Let's just do this.
Just all about, like the athletes kind of driving it and choosing where we went. And I kind of just wanted to like do it with my friends rather than meeting up with other pro skiers who are all great. It was like, but like I want to involve like my close friends that maybe aren't going to be a tenured professional skier, but they're really good and deserve some shine.
Yeah, there's a difference between doing it with your friends and doing it with like the homies.
So, it was such a good era, and still to this day has learned so much. Like doing those films, we didn't make like a good company film this year, but I produced a movie for North Face. So like was in charge of budgeting, filmers, edit, the whole team, like doing all the like budget controls. And it's like, I learned all those skills working good company, which was just like fun for us to make ski movies. But like, now I feel like I could actively go out and like produce a movie for anybody. Maybe not anything but action sports, but like find the right people and set it up. And it's like a new role that I've found for myself to keep me in this space, which is like, all thanks to taking some initiative 10 years ago. Yeah,
and I like the way that you put that, because I recorded with Julian Carr a while ago now.
Oh, nice.
But he kind of had that same perspective where, I mean, he was going on these on these trips. He was skiing these amazing places, having this experience, but he couldn't help but realize like the end is going to come at some point.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do then? Because you can't just hang up the skis and then go sit on your couch.
If you're not going to be the filmer on the trip, you're not going to be like, there's so many roles. Where's your next role? Yeah,
and with him it was, okay, I'm going to go start a company. Go start Discreet, which then turned into, I'm going to go start Cirque Series. I'm going to go start this like Bronco manufacturer.
They have like 20 Broncos or something.
It's insane.
But like continuing to find ways.
Yeah, and I think you're a good one. Like, it's funny to talk to people now, like the quote, the youths, and they're like, I want to be a pro skier because I can make so much money. You're like, I urge you to reconsider that. Like from the money perspective, like you could do a lot of cool things.
And you might make some money, but like good luck making a ton of money.
But I think you're a great example of someone who's been able to make it work actively.
Yeah.
And like, especially when, like around that like 2015, 2016 time is like when the Olympics started to come into the picture and Slopestyle is there. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember, were you trying to make the Olympic squad at that time?
Yeah, I was trying to make the team in 2014, but I had a blown knee at the time that whole winter. So I was like skiing, but I couldn't really land forwards, only backwards. So it was really hard to put together slopestyle runs when you can't land forwards because of like the bone bruising or whatever was wrong with my knee. But yeah, I ended up not making the team, which was totally fine in the long run and hasn't changed my life at all. And our friend Josh Christensen from Park City was the final member that made that team and went on to win. So it's like all's well that ends well. At the time, it was like my world ended, and then I had to get surgery and not ski for 6 months. But like, it was fine. It was just bad timing to come off World Championships win, Wallisch project release. Okay, let's buckle down and train for the Olympics. Blown knee right away, before the Olympics. Like,
heartbreaking.
But again, like, I wouldn't change anything.
Totally.
I got to go to the Olympics this year. Didn't get to compete, but better believe I skied the course, so that's good enough.
Totally.
And I got paid to be there. It didn't
Even better?
matter.
Yeah. Like, if we're going to Italy, sounds great.
Sounds good.
And like, it's fun with like Joss in that moment because he was like more or less not really known. And then now you see what he's done now and like with Slush and just, it's like, it's fun to see those moments where like the baton gets passed.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see, like, I mean, especially like there's always going to be some kid in Park City that ends up being that guy.
The next thing. I don't know. Something about the Olympic team this year, like 18 or what was it? Maybe 20 or 25% came from Utah. And like so many from just up there. It's insane. And so I like that, because I want to transition to that, because like that's another thing that you've been able to do to keep very involved in skiing is like announcing. And so it's like funny now to like I think I was watching Olympics with my girlfriend, and I was watching Slopestyle, and she's like, "Well, who announces this?" And I was like, "Actually, that's funny you should mention. Like, he is that, like, he should be, like, he's like one of, like, because it's like so cringe to me when you watch something like that. They're like, you see them do a spin thing, and then they do the rail thing, and you're like, you get somebody that really doesn't know it, but maybe they have a good voice or something. Where I'm like, I kind of hate my voice, but I feel like I know the sport really well.
Yeah.
I just wish I was a little bit calmer and deeper and a little bit more golf voice.
Yeah. And here we go. He's going to go with the switched up 12. And oh my goodness, got that mute crap perfect. Anyway.
Oh, but it's so fun. I mean, I don't know how that one I found it. I guess I just like watching the announcers. I was like, this is great. But like sometimes somebody would get a trick wrong. And I'm like, I think I could do that. And I just like don't mind talking, have always been a storyteller, an extroverted guy that wants to talk or wants to say whatever. And then somehow I got the opportunity to like try and
what was the
X
first
Games.
time you, was it X Games?
I mean, I like maybe announced like some minor events, like just for fun, like a local rail jam. But like I pretty much got sent in first time X Games, which is a huge event to just be like, here's your first time, call this but I was with a friend who was really good, who was the guy passing the baton to me, Luke Van Valen, and he just killed it and let me, do my thing. But like, it took a time or two. The first time was too much talk, really annoying, and I look back on it, and it's the same as like the skiing. You're like, I can't believe I sounded like that, and now I'm like, oh, it's easy. But anything with practice, like, just gets better. And it's a way for me to go to all these events, see all the skiers, ski all the courses, and continue to like hopefully make our sport or help our sport be seen in a good light. For the Olympics, it's showing a Midwest mom like describing the tricks so she understands and she thinks it's cool and respectable and very fun, so that kid that lives at Highland Hills can go try park skiing all day, every day. Like my whole point of it is to like, continue to do it till the next person does it better than me or wants to do it. It's not like I need it. I want our sport to sound cool, right, well explained, and for the degrees of rotation to be accurate for the athletes. It's not
like they
that
span
much.
around a lot.
It was a 2340. We got to get counting here.
It's wild. Like skiers, snowboarders, skateboarders, like it's wild how good at my like 180 math I am. Yeah, and just keep doing it. But
and then the 90 math too for like 450 on, or maybe it's an 810 off. Like, it's like, why do I know these numbers?
You're like, and they're like, that was a 4. Like, actually, no, that was a nose butter lip too, but close.
Yeah, close.
But I mean, was it pretty hard to transition from, talking about skiing with friends to being like, okay, I have to talk about this in a way that Janet from Wisconsin can understand, but then also like, I would imagine you have to repeat yourself in enough cadence because you realize like, oh, the average person's sticking around for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So it's like whatever I said an hour ago isn't relevant anymore.
That's kind of like the thing that took the longest, was like becoming okay with the repetition of like the corny or the gimmicky one-liner that helps describe the sport or whatever it is. Like the reminder that when I say switch, that means the athlete is going backwards on their skis. And it's like, I hate it, or anything like that, because the core audience tuning in obviously is annoyed, and I'm so in tune with like, oh man, my homies are gonna give me such a hard time about this, like all my friends. But it's like, you gotta say it, or whatever the analogy is. And I've learned throughout the years, I've gotten really good at like, for X Games or for the rail jam on campus at the U, I can be core and funny and not like approachable to a Midwest mom. I'm being like as core and fun as I want to be. Then as we get to the Olympics, you scale it toward NBC approachability, athletes and respectability and what the spins are and how they train and explaining left and right and all the things. Like, you just like tone it for events, and I've gotten so much better at it over the years. At first it was like I just called them all the same, and now I'm like, how am I going to call, like, I go into each event kind of understanding what the target audience is, which is cool.
I mean, especially when you have someone like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like Alex Hall, who does things, it's like, how do I translate this one for Karen in Minnesota again? Like, this one might be a little bit tougher. But...
And that's why, like, for him, I don't necessarily call the trick as much as I say, because I know what he's going to do because I've watched practice. I'm like, for those of you at home, watch how differently this rail slide is. Yeah. Instead of being sideways, he's going full, like, just try to, like, dumb it down's always the wrong word, but simplify it. Like, and also, like, make them understand where to look. And I learned so much from watching other sports nowadays. I've been watching NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs. I'm like, man, they're so good at, like, pointing me to, like, where the ball's gonna end up, to who it's gonna get past, who or the puck or whatever. And it's like, I try to bring that to my broadcast. Like, for this athlete, the key is the rails, or the key is the second to last jump. Watch this takeoff and try to, like, lead the viewer to come in. And it's been cool to, like, I can't watch TV. It ruins sports for me because if it's a bad announcer, like, I'm like, oh my God, like, I could do, what is this guy doing? And it's never like a primetime sport, but, like, I'll tune into whatever and I'm like, I got to turn it off. I can't listen to this guy. He's so bad.
Totally.
Like, I'm so critical of color commentators now.
Yeah. I mean, especially when, you go in the first time and they're like, all right, like, good, but, like, here's what I would tweak and learning. Yeah. But when it came around for, like, the Olympics this year, this year.
Yeah. Just this winter.
Do you feel like, was it like you kind of knew you were going to be the guy, or did you get a call and you're like, all right, looks like we're going to Italy? Or was it a little bit of a
I kind
blindside?
of knew. I did get to call 2022 as well.
Okay.
But we were working remote from Stamford, Connecticut, where NBC's based for the China Olympics because of COVID and difficulties getting over there. So this was the first one I did on site. But I'd say, like, I kind of thought I had it in the bag, and then, like, a year before I knew. And I didn't know if we were going to be in person or at NBC headquarters till, like, maybe 3 or 4 months before. But, like, getting the call, like, you're going to be on site in Livigno was, like, the, like, best moment for me because I just still have never, like, worked or competed in Olympics. Like, I've seen, but, like, I wanted to, like, be in the venue, have
feel
the
energy, be around
feel
your
the
friends.
energy.
Yeah.
And it was so cool being in Italy I was there like 3.5 weeks or something for this event. And it was just like, you see the athletes. I see Alex Hall wins a silver medal in slopestyle, and, like, I come down out of my booth and I can give him a hug while he's crying, seeing his family. Like, it was just so, the energy is just, like, infectious of, like, the attitude compared to any event. Like, that's the beauty of the Olympics is, like, you might all think it's lame and it's, like, not where free skiing or our sport should be, but, like, seeing the families and the athletes and the emotion and the news and what's covered and how big it is for our sport to be seen across so many demographics, so many countries, in so many languages. It's like, it's huge.
Totally. And are you allowed to go, like, are you doing laps with them like during practice in Hain? Or like, okay, cool. I'd hope so.
I don't think I'm really, like, there's probably a workers' comp situation if I were to get hurt on the course. Yeah. So I'm more skiing with them and not really, like, hitting the features or anything. But, like, I'm on course watching, hanging out right in the chair with Alex Hall and Mac Forehand. And then when they got their medals, it's like, okay, you guys are going to what bar? Your parents are going to be there? I'll see you there. Let's go do a tower of beer or whatever it is. Like, it was so cool.
Oh. And looking at, it's wild to think of the kid in Seven Springs that was doing laps on his own to being at the U and, like, tall tees to competing to making your own production company
just
to now.
Like going to college in sweatpants and slippers, like, the first year. Like, who was I?
And then, looking at your life now, like, what does skiing look like to you these days? Are you still getting out a lot? Is it just kind of changed? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I guess nowadays, it's definitely changed. I would say, like, my relationship with the actual sport surprisingly hasn't changed at all. Like, my personal love of it is identical. I get, like, antsy, angry when I'm like, it's winter and I'm not skiing because I have something else going on. Like, and then when I go, I'm the insane person that still goes at 9 a.m. and we'll ski rails at Woodward for like 5 hours. I'm not training for anything. I'm not filming. I just like, there's an addictive part of my soul that's in love with this sport. I would just say like my overall like time to ski has changed, where it used to be all about me and like, what could I do? And it was like, what can we film? What am I training for? Now it's like me continuing to find ways to accomplish other goals that bring more, value for me to a brand or to a film company or to a film shoot or whatever it is. Like the hustle is like real for it to be a business. And I continue to try to find ways to like, not necessarily make money, but like fulfill my end of the bargain as being a sponsored athlete or a film producer or a commentator. And whether that's the Zoom calls that lead up to the Olympics and the other, like, life gets in the way. So I don't ski as much as I would love to, but like that being said, my job is skiing. So at the end of the day, I ski 80 days a year and I'm in love with it. But like, I do miss that freshman year of college where like we probably skied, 150 days of just like Park City and Brighton, Powell and Park. And it was like the best. And now I'm like traveling the world all season long. Just, it's incredible. But yeah, I still am in love with the sport and don't get maybe as many like soul shred days. I got to schedule those in. It's
growing up in a nutshell. Like you don't have the time to do the things you used to. And now that you do, it's like, well, like I always joke about the people that move here in like later life, like late 20s, 30s, and like they have to learn how to ski. Oh. And I'm like, I don't know what it's like to, just go down the mountain. Or like, just do this. And they're like, this is terrifying. What's my deductible
huge.
Again?
Like, why am I doing this? I'm going to get hurt.
Exactly. But I guess now in life, what other projects are you working on? What else is taking up your time?
It's really, it's still all ski. The summers are so good, but like all winter is a delicate balance between the project. This year we did a North Face film that'll come out this fall. And I was not only skiing in it, but producing it. So just so much work with all the scheduling, the planning of the different athletes. It's like 12 different athletes. We've shot with 8 different filmers on 4 continents. And it's like just the scheduling and budgeting and invoicing and paying and tracking everything was like this huge production. So like that is finally all shot. I'll be working with an editor this summer to finish it. And then that one's off to the races. So like outside of that, it's really just like continuing to like do all the other little brand stuff. But like summers are so chill, and I'll hopefully get to go to New Zealand again this summer to film, and really just like trying to continue to maintain good relationships with the sponsors. Working on designing better and better skis every year and doing all the stuff I can to be the best like representative for these brands so they'll keep sponsoring me.
Keep the dream alive.
I'm trying to keep the dream alive. I feel like I'm impactful. Hopefully you guys think so too.
No, I don't know if I could make an argument that you don't, because it's
not going to do a 2340 anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah. No more spin to win, but now you're spinning cameras and helicopters and like the logistical nightmares.
Let's spin more helicopter blades. That's the best.
Anything else you want to make sure we cover that I missed?
No, not really. I feel like we covered it all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. But sometimes there's someone's like, actually, it's plugged in. Anyway.
I got no big things to announce or anything.
Just life's good.
Life's great. I'm not injured. Made it through a winter. Golf season's upon us. Handicap's going down, which is good, but like bad for match play with the boys. But yeah, it's okay.
Well, I want to wrap up with the 2 questions I always ask everybody at the end of each episode. Okay. Number 1, if you could have someone on the Small Lake City podcast and hear more about them, their story, and what they're up to, who would you want to hear from?
I would like to hear from someone that works at the Dinosaur Museum on campus.
Yes.
I don't know why I just thought of that. I was like, maybe I'll think of somebody from the U. And then I was like, you know what? I would actually tune in to just hear more about either the museum and what we actually have in there, because I've walked through it and I just don't want to read everything. So just give me a little bit more breakdown. I drive through Dinosaur and Vernal every year on the way to Colorado. I'm like, I would listen to someone describe more of the why and how how long ago that like period was and what we have here and what sort of species.
I love that. Like the question I never get asked anymore from when I was a kid is like, what's your favorite dinosaur? You know, like, but like we still like, if I were to turn on a podcast, like, hey, we're going to go through all the dinosaurs. I'm like, turn up. Like, yep, we're driving to Colorado. Might as well listen.
Yeah. Especially it's like so past that like, I don't know. I just feel like the news nowadays is depressing. So let's talk dinosaurs and think about like, what's your favorite dinosaur? It's a good question. Everybody says T-Rex.
I know, it's the easy one.
I think I'm a Brontosaurus long neck guy.
Ooh. Yeah.
Just think of all the things you could eat for.
Just look at like the thought of just like looking at a tree from the top down, being like, all right, you never see that.
Where does a giraffe wear or a Brontosaurus wear a necktie? At the top by its mouth or down at the base of the long neck?
Well, I'm gonna find the guy to ask, and he better have a good answer for me.
It's classic.
Yeah. And then
what's the second one?
Oh yeah, and then
We digress.
If people want to, follow you, check out the movie when it comes out or anything, keep in touch. What's the best place to find information?
Find me on all social media platforms at Wallisch, and that's kind of it. Social. Don't really have a website. I don't know. Send me a DM if you want to get in touch, and we'll see you.
Dope. Tom, thanks, man. It's fun to see how much you've done for skiing, but still have this appetite to keep doing more and just keep chasing it because you're just so passionate about it. So
just love it. I'm addicted. Something's wrong with me. I don't know. I got a problem.
Nah, I think you're right with something. There's a lot of people that don't experience that level of passion or any passion of something. Sure. So never let it die.
I'll try my best. I'll be doing this for as long as I can, as long as these knees will allow.
Good. We'll be watching. Ugh.
Cheers.
No, that was fun.